I decided to do a vlog for this week on a Monday to switch things around a bit. I would like to share an important lesson I think I am finally getting better at and have learned through my experiences, especially in the last few years. When living a life where people might say, this could only happen in a movie, I have come across different types of people and situations, and many of these encounters have touched or changed my life in various poignant ways, some more than others. When interacting with your environment and people within it, you can and may find yourself doing things out of your character in order to make people happy, keep the peace, or to meet a specific need. One of such encounters is what I would like to share with you. I made a brief friendly acquaintance who is a nice person and occasionally has provided me with an ear to listen to me and help with groceries. I in turn assisted in ways that I could. It also gave me a brief escape from my worried thoughts. Whilst as a guest, one will and should be respectful as well as cordial to your host. On one occasion, my host confided in me that they get occasional urges to do prank calls on people and buying takeaways and not paying for it. I never knew you could do that with home deliveries, and I've never tried this. I thought that would be kind of silly to do from your home, and nor is it in my nature. But I did not think it would work. But the host had experience at this. I was to find out. The host would dial the numbers to prank, and I spoke to the people telling them what the host thought was funny due to their reactions. The host would also call the restaurants and takeaways, and I would collect it when it arrived. And once the delivery man handed the food to me, I would take it from them and the host would slam the door shut as they hid behind it. This felt really weird the first time, but as I was hungry, I tried not to think too much about it. But then after the second time, I found it hard to eat the food knowing I had again shortchanged the business and other self-employed people like myself. So, I would like to say first to the people I prank called, Touch, or Touch. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. I apologize for calling and telling you I told your wife about the underwear in your car and mentioning about the small package you might or might not have in your nether regions. I don't know if you are married, and I hope that didn't cause any awkwardness between you and your wife, if you have one. It was a prank, which to be honest, after your call, I felt I'd reached the line I shouldn't be crossing and put my foot down to stop doing prank calls. Danielle, I don't know you, and I never was interested in hanging out with a buff brother like you. I do not know if you're a buff, but I do know that being called as many times as you were was good enough reason to block the number. It was a prank call to make my host happy. Nikki, I do apologize. My cat isn't up on your roof, and no one is going to come to your home and be cross with you because their cat won't come home. Sharma, I am sorry for calling when you were feeling unwell. No, my cat isn't and never was near your home. Never mind up on your roof and wouldn't come down. I hope you get better soon. And the Chinese shop woman, I sincerely apologize for when I spoke to you about the cat on your roof. I just spoke to people whom my host dialed their numbers or found it on their phone. I did not know it was the same Chinese shop that had been pranked that was cold. To the neighbors whom I had to listen to the pounding on the door and cussing by an upset delivery driver, I do apologize for the noise. And to everyone else whom I prank called to keep my host happy, a host who was kind enough to have me in their home to get away from my worry space and help me with much needed groceries for my home, I apologize for any inconvenience caused. In total, there were 3 takeaway restaurants called, 1 Chinese and 2 Indian. 1 Indian delivery was not completed. I have a good idea as to the restaurants that delivered food to us, and I apologize to the 3 drivers, even the one that didn't make the delivery because of the dog barking. That was money for petrol, wasted, and a job you wouldn't be getting paid for, plus a waste of your time. And as a delivery driver, time is money. So, I apologize for doing this to each of your drivers who were just trying to earn a living. By the grace of the one who sees and knows all, if I do make it to a situation where I am more financially stable than I am now, I will pay you all back what is owed. It makes one think to see myself agreeing to do certain things which are not in my character, just so that I will have a little more food than I do now, and save the little cash I have. This goes to show what lengths people will go to survive a personal attack on them. But more importantly, it goes to show how far certain select groups of people will go to force someone into a position where they shall be portrayed to the outside world as a self-fulfilling prophecy. A prophecy that started out as a lie and forced to become a truth. That is why my spirituality is so important to me, because it has supported me as a guide stone to come back to for a reminder or having a new lesson for me to learn. In this journey I have been on, in my life, but more recently, since the intense targeting started in 2015, what I have gradually been learning and getting better at doing is when one recognizes something does not feel right about a person, place, action, or situation, it is not cowardly to retreat or speak up about something that does not sit well with your heart, but rather it is extremely cowardly and foolish to continue being involved or forcing yourself to bear with it and ignore it because you have another need that thing is fulfilling, or you want to find another way out of it without upsetting the person or people involved, even if that meant you suffer for a bit longer. Putting my foot down in situations with people has been a weak point I have struggled with and been slowly getting better at as I have matured and slowly been learning to cope with and manage the autistic side of me that does not like walking into confrontational situations unless I am forced into them. My experiences have shown me repeatedly that confrontation or a situation will eventually come up, and if I did not listen to my intuition and go back to my guide stone to remember and reaffirm the lesson I am meant to be learning, then I am just as responsible for the mess I find myself in comparison to the person or people who forced me into that situation. Thus, my spirituality has taught me a very important lesson, that it is okay to make mistakes, but it is not okay to ignore them. And as for my observations through this journey, it has amused me somewhat at how easier it is for many people to believe in an invisible God than to believe in the existence of such things as secret societies, which are basically social clubs, but in this case, ones which also engage in dangerous sports.